ask me, is there, if I think of any stories on disrespect? Boys. Quiet. I know your names. Okay? Alright, so I just wanted, there was one in the Bible, and I won't read the story to you, I'll just tell you about it real quickly. There was an older prophet. Prophet in the Bible was someone that God would speak to, and then they would go around telling people what God was trying to tell them. And so his name was Elijah. And Elijah, the Bible says that God took him in a whirlwind, so he didn't die. God just took him out of this earth and took him on to heaven. Well, he had a young prophet that he was training, and his name was Elisha. So when Elisha would come to town, people had heard that Elisha was telling the story that Elijah had just went up to heaven in a whirlwind. And nobody believed that. They said, that's crazy, that's impossible. And so the parents apparently were talking about it. The kids, how many of you kids listen to what your parents are talking about, even though you're not supposed to be knowing what's going on? And so apparently that's not a new problem. Apparently that's an old problem. So the parents apparently had been saying, you know, this kid Elisha, this prophet, this young guy, I don't know if I believe that story is telling about the old prophet. So when Elisha came to town, the kids, they were all boys. Some of the commentaries say they were a gang. Some of them say they were just a bunch of young boys that were too young to go out and work in the fields. So they started mocking Elisha. And they said, and Elisha had a bald head. And so they said, go up, O Baldy. Go up, O Baldy. And they were making fun of the prophet. The Bible says that Elisha turned around and rebuked them in the name of the Lord. And it says that two mama bears came out and tore up 42 young boys. Now the commentary goes on to say that because of the wording of the scriptures, the bears did not eat the little boys, didn't kill the little boys, but it did apparently bite and scratch the little boys. And it was all because they were disrespecting the prophet. What you need to learn is, if you disrespect the people that are trying to tell you about the Lord, it's the same as disrespecting God himself. And God does not take that lightly. So sometimes people think they're getting away with stuff, but God wanted to make a point and say, you don't talk about my prophets. You don't make fun of them and call them old baldy and make fun of what they're telling you. And so he didn't kill them, but they sure went home with some scratches and bruises and some bear bites.